Welcome back everyone to the State of the Nation. Now we are staying on the same subject as before regarding forming administrations in local government bodies. Now opposition says that they will do so at local bodies. The government doesn't have an absolute majority. They even have come into an alliance for that. However, there was this comment made loosely by a minister saying that those bodies the government failed to get an absolute majority can be placed under a commissioner. Now again, I reiterate, this was not in any way confirmed by the president nor the prime minister or anyone in an official capacity from the NPP government. I think once again, that minister just spoke out of context. Anyway, let's just ask this question. Is there a legal standing to this? Can the government technically move towards a commissioner in bodies they don't have a commanding majority? Johnny me now is the lecturer for public law at the Bandaranaike Center for International Studies, attorney at law, Udara Soyza. Thank you very much, Udara, for your time. Appreciate it. Now, there's this idea being floated that in local bodies where the government has no majority can be dissolved or taken under control of a commissioner and run it as per the needs and wants of the current incumbent government. Now this bids several questions that in this case, why did we spend billions of rupees on elections if that is the case? Also, how come a government go against the verdict of the people? Is there any legal provisions to this claim?
Mahieash, to answer this question in a brief manner, you have to understand the law, the statute that is governing the municipal council. So, if you look at the municipal council's ordinance, if you look at the chapter 252, section 277, which has given guidelines on basically circumstances, right? So section 277 gives circumstances in which a commissioner or a special commissioner can be used. So, for example, council perform, if the council fail to perform its duties, if there's increasing mismanagement and corruption, legal irregularities, etc., then there is a provision. So, of course, we know that this is really a political situation right now where there's not enough votes for the ruling party, the NPP, to govern the council. So this is not the scope of the ordinance. The ordinance is not made for to be used as a political weapon where one party loses and the party uses this special provision. Commissioner's special powers to balance this out. This is completely not democratic and going completely against the mandate of the people.
Udara, hypothetically, let's say that the government proceeds with this legal process. Can anyone contest this at the courts on violations of fundamental rights? After all, the power of those bodies were created with the verdicts of the people via an election.
Yes, of course. This anti-democratic, if I don't think the government will go for this, but if the government, of course, continues, anti-democratic, and you must understand the Article 3 and the Article 4E of the Constitution of Sri Lanka, where the people's sovereignty and the franchise rights have been protected. And clearly you can understand that the fundamental rights provisions in the Constitution is sufficient for this kind of situations to take action. So fundamental rights, I think this would be one of the first fundamental rights cases that will be filed and probably will be effectively won against the NPP government if they continues to go for this. So Article 12, also violation of Article 4, Article 3. This is a clear violation of the Constitution, clear violation of the people's fundamental rights. And this would not only have domestic repercussions, this would indeed have international repercussions as well, because this government within 1 year, if they are going to, or if they are willing to sacrifice the fundamental rights of the people, especially something as holy and something as sacred like the people's franchise, this would be a horrible situation constitutionally and legally for the country to be in.
Indeed, Udara, if we look at history, has there been instances where the government has foregone the verdict of the people and taken over such bodies?
Not in this context. As you see, often when the time frame or if the time duration of a council has been expired or had been expired in the past without holding the election for whatever the reasons. Like if you look at the Northeast situations where the war was going on in this situation back in from 1990 onward, you had this commissioner kind of a situation. Also, if you look at the Colombo Municipal Council in 1999, and from 2002 almost, you had this similar situation where the government fails to hold the election and rather without holding election had a special commissioner. But just after election, doing this kind of a thing would be unprecedented. It's one thing, of course, wrong, not hold election and delaying election and appointing a special commissioner. But holding election, spending millions, if not billions, for the election and then then using a special commissioner, this is a violation of fundamental rights, waste of our resources, waste of taxpayer resources, and complete mockery of democracy. This should not be done under any circumstances.
All right, let's leave it at that. That was lecturer for public law at the Bandaranaike Center for International Studies, attorney at law, Dr. Udara Soyza. Thank you very much and always good to see you. Let's take a short commercial break, and when we return, I'll speak to the Deputy Chairman of the Joint Apparel Association, Felix Fernando, and later economist from the Institute of Political Economy in London, Charit Gunawardena. I'll ask them both on how Trump tariffs might impact their industry. This is the State of the Nation. Back in a moment.